Now is the time for humans around the world to come together and co-create the next story of us. Although COVID-19 implies severe challenges in the form of illness and deaths for a lot of people, maybe it takes a crisis that affects us all, for us humans, to see ourselves as part of nature, as part of a system, and as part of one world on one planet Earth. Thanks to the pandemic, people around the world got a chance to stop and reflect. And since the shops were closed, we couldn't go shopping like we used to. It also gave us a chance to rethink the way of living. Do I really need to buy that new sweater or those new pants or whatever it may be? And it's given us the opportunity also to start using digital solutions that we've actually had for quite some time. And for those solutions to actually develop at exponential speed. And this in turn made it possible to communicate and collaborate globally in a completely different way without traveling. To me, this year started out great with a launch in Davos. And I was looking forward to continuing the decade of action in a similar way. But in February, things changed completely, starting with the sudden death of my dear brother. And after that, several challenges, both in my private and my professional life. The more or less standstill in society during the lockdown was, of course, tough. But in a way, for me, it came at the right moment. It gave me time to think and consider what's important in life and how I could, in a way, rearrange my life. It also gave me the possibility to take part in several international meetings without traveling. And I'm happy to have met a lot of new people, both in Sweden and internationally. And many of them share similar ideas of the ones that I work on. Personally, I think that there may be some form of synchronicity that made all this happen at the same time. And independently of what we think about that, we actually create our future. And when a lot of things coincide, our chances of getting the well-needed changes in our way of living increase. Now is the time to calibrate our inner compasses towards not just sustainable, but thriving societies based on environmental, social, and economic sustainable development, and also well-being, trust, courage, and engagement, and inclusion, leaving no one behind. If we can act rapidly together under the threat of a virus, just imagine what we could achieve if we use the same collective action to save and take care of planet Earth and deal with the climate crisis. If we act fast, what if a lot of the sustainable development goals came true much earlier? Let's say, why not in 2 years' time from now, in 2022? In 2022, we will actually be halfway to 2030. Since the agreements on the 2030 agenda and the climate in 2015, to get the full story and a bigger picture in the next story of us, we should also include history. And in 2022, it will be 60 years since Rachel Carson's groundbreaking book, Silent Spring. It will also be 50 years since the world leaders gathered at the United Nations Conference on the Human Environment, the first UN conference on sustainable development, which was held in Stockholm, where I'm based, in 1972, under the theme, Only One Earth. And at the Stockholm conference, the UN Environment Programme was formed. There is only one Earth. And if we use the pandemic as an opportunity to really get into action, we could see too that we can celebrate the 50-year anniversary of the Stockholm Conference and the formation of UNEP and be proud of what we have achieved already by 2022. In the future, we can tell our children and grandchildren the story of how humanity back in 2020 managed to come together and act as one, because we realized that there is only one Earth and we're in this together. Are you ready to rewrite history? Now is the time. Let's go.